I have 31 Rue Cambon by Chanel. I have an EDT and a EDP. This one is a little confusing to really get a grasp about how it smells. I'm unsure if I like it a lot or think it's okay. I mean, it's definitely good. I don't know if it's one of my favorites or maybe number 5 or 6. It's probably definitely top 5, 6, or 7 out of the Chanel exclusives for me. I will say with the EDP on skin, it smells a lot better than on paper. I would definitely recommend smelling it on skin. I also noticed on card that this one lasts a while. A week or two later, it's the strongest out of the majority of the Chanel exclusives that I've smelled on paper. I got lucky on Mercari. I noticed a seller was selling 4 Chanel samples. I originally purchased them thinking they were EDP formulations. And then to my surprise, when they came in, they were EDT formulations. They had 4 others too. I should have bought them just for reference sense, but at the time I only wanted EDPs because those are the ones I would potentially buy. But whatever, I missed out on that, but at least I got 4 of the old EDTs. These old EDT samples come in 2 mLs, I believe, versus the new one is like 1.5 ml. So Chanel got a little cheap with it, but it's standard. Really standard is like 1 ml, those little sprayers on most of the designers. But anyway, I got this EDT sample on the left, EDP sample on the right. I want to talk a little bit about the differences and which ones I prefer. I did a video recently of I think it's 28 La Pausa EDT versus La Pausa EDP. That one I was kind of undecided, but wearing them more, I prefer the EDT. I think it's more interesting, especially on the opening. It has a little bit of rose, a little bit of leather, slight vintage feel, not too much. Whereas the EDP, I think, is just straight vetiver with mostly vetiver with iris, a little bit of a touch of vanilla in the base, a little bit more simplistic. The La Pausa EDP, I think if you smell La Pausa, you're probably going to pick up on iris originally. At least I did, because it might be more foreign compared to vetiver, which is in a lot of things. But after you smell it for a while, you're really going to pick up vetiver. I would say that's a vetiver scent more than an iris La Pausa, but they're both good. They dry down similarly. With these though, at a first blast, what I noticed is the EDP of 31 Rue Cambon is more smoother, I would say. For me personally, I think it's better, the EDP on this one. I wouldn't say it's better, but I prefer it. It's really good on skin. You get this smooth you get like a smooth iris with a little bit of sourness in it. It's got other things going on in it too. Maybe slight vintage, nothing crazy. The EDT, I feel like maybe slightly more medicinal, slightly more vintage, slightly more of a cola vibe. Like slightly more root beer, but not too much. Not like an amber vanilla or anything like that. Whereas the one on the right, more smoother. As far as like feminine or masculine goes, or unisex, I would say these are unisex. Let me see if one of them is more on one side than the other. I don't know. I guess I think they're unisex. I mean, if I had to pick, I would maybe lean feminine. I feel like with most Chanels, maybe they lean feminine, but they're unisex. I think if you're not into fragrances and you're a female, you might think these lean slightly masculine. And same thing, if you're not into fragrances and you're a male, you might think they lean more feminine, but anyone can wear these. The EDP is stronger off of skin, close up. Smoother, Um, I don't know. I mean, they're similar. I would just go the EDP. I think it's stronger, better blended, smoother. I like the sour edge to it. It's tough to say. Maybe the EDP leans a little stronger floral, a little more iris, touch of vanilla. Yeah, more floral, smoother, blended well, the EDP. It's one of those ones where I smell the EDT and then go to EDP. It's hard to smell the EDT. Once you smell the EDP, maybe it's more of a true EDP, just stronger concentration of oils. I mean, there is differences though, like I said. More smoother iris, slightly soury. Just more modernized, maybe a touch of vanilla to modernize it, smooth it out. I don't know. I wouldn't hunt down a vintage of this. I really think the EDP is I prefer. Yeah. Yeah, I would go with the EDP. I mean, unless you want to get one that you might think is more masculine or feminine, but to me, I can't. I think they're both down the middle on that. I wouldn't say one leans more one way or the other. I think I asked someone which one they prefer and they like the right one better. I think I've heard I know people buy the vintage, but I doubt they even smell the EDP. People that hunt vintage, I notice, just go for the vintage because they think it's better. But I mean, if you can, I would try to get a decant of the EDT or a sample if you can, and just hold on to these EDTs for reference sense. If you're a vintage hunter, that way you can kind of decide that way. But I mean, yeah, let me give it one more smell. I like the EDP better. It's more well-rounded, stronger, slightly more floral, but not in a bad way. Maybe slightly more iris, a little bit of sourness. Maybe a touch of vanilla to smooth it out. I mean, I don't like vanilla in fragrances, so it doesn't bother me. But it just smells better blended to me. This EDT gives me more of a slight medicinal cola vibe. Like I said, not like an amber vanilla, but you kind of get that slightly medicinal cola vibe, just a little bit in there, which I don't like. I'd prefer this one just because of the sourness, the smoothness. It's just so smooth. It really goes on the skin, like a nice clean iris with some florals. I think this one's good. If I had to pick, I would say if you're gonna try 5 from Chanel, I would try this one as one of them. Get the Cuir de Russia one. I think I prefer that one a little more than this one probably. What else? I have noticed with Coral Mendel and Bose de Lis, they have this metallic touch in the opening, which I kind of don't like. Bose de Lis, the EDP, to me, it starts off kind of floral. I would wait for the dry down on that, but I just get an amber fragrance. I would prefer Musk Ravager. I know people really like that one, but I wouldn't say it's any better than like MFK's Grand Soir. I might even prefer that one. I would go with Musk Ravager, but it's in the same realm as that one, Bose de Lis. It has a metallic touch in the opening, which I don't like a metal stain. Coral Mendel kind of has that metallic touch, a little bit too sweet for me. But I think if you're not really into Chanel fragrances, maybe Coral Mendel would suit you if you're new and you like amber vanillas. Maybe try La Pausa if you want like a vetiver scent. I don't like Sycamore EDP. I'll do reviews of all these. in the future. I have most of them. I have a number 18 EDT as well. I need to get an EDP to compare that one to. That one's a little complex. Seems simple, but it's a little complex. I'm a little unsure on that one too. But yeah, let me know which one you prefer, if you like the EDT or EDP better of these. I don't know if anybody's compared these two. I'm sure that there might be one person that I've heard talk about it or something, but yeah, it's interesting to see like these old formulations versus the new ones. Yeah, let me know which one you prefer of any Chanel EDTs or EDPs. I'm curious. What I've noticed is just EDTs seem like they have a slightly more vintage opening, maybe like that slight dusty, slight medicinal. But they are maybe more interesting because of that. Whereas these EDPs I've noticed have like a touch of vanilla and vetiver. It seems like they have that in the base of all of them, which they all smell kind of similar. It's kind of like MFKs all smell kind of similar. They all have that white musk. Like these new Chanels have a base. Maybe the old ones do too, like that vintagey aldehyde medicinal dustiness. I don't know. I haven't smelled all of them to really know, but yeah, for the most part, the EDPs are still good. I wouldn't worry too much about paying crazy prices for these EDTs. But anyway, I think that's enough for this comparison. Let me know what you think. Bye.